This is the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time! Presenting the champion of the world, Phil Wham Bam Benamino!
Hello, and welcome to the Wham Bams podcast, the show about regular people who have done extraordinary things and are nothing but self-made. I am Phil Benamino, a.k.a. your boy, Wham Bam. And if the odds are against you like they've been my whole life, and you're not sure if you can make it through it, don't be afraid, because you're not alone. So today's episode, we're going to talk about my journey, my trip from Italy. A lot of people want to know what happened there, what's going on. And you know what? There was nothing better to discuss than traveling and the health setbacks while you're on vacation and the things that we don't really think about when we're traveling. So, you know, when you're recovering, you go through a lot of depression. And you know, you must turn that depression into determination to try to get better. It's been a big journey over the last 9 weeks of my life. So you're going to hear about it in a second. So hold tight, because this first episode is everything that happened in Italy. And joining me today are my two sons, Kian and Rocco Benamino.
What's up?
What's going on, boys? How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Awesome. So some fun facts about Kian first. I want to tell you, Kian's from Dublin, Ireland. And that's where the accent's coming from. But he does have a master's degree right here in the United States in Kennesaw State College, where he applied. He has basically a master's in applied exercise science. He's a competitive athlete who has been involved in rugby, soccer, and track and field. Along with, are you ready for this one? Handball Olympics. Come on, Kian, tell us about handball. What is this Olympic handball?
Olympic handball. It's a sport. You play with your hands. It's like a ball, probably just like a small futsal size. Handball, no, bigger than a softball. And it's 5-on-5. You play on a small little indoor court, and you're basically running, bouncing, and it's a pure power sport of throwing the ball into the goal. I mean, you got 5-on-5. Court's probably half the size of a basketball court. But it's played in the Olympics, played in Europeans. Eastern Europe is huge as well. But it's a sport that I played when I was younger, and I loved it. Yeah.
Awesome. Did you get any medals for that?
I did, actually. We won the Leinster Championship, and I scored, 51 goals in 6 games?
What?
I was a beast.
What?
I was an absolute
Did you get a gold
beast.
medal for that?
I got a gold medal back in Ireland. Yeah,
Nice.
It's in my bedroom still.
Nice. Kian currently works at Alloy Personal Training in Alpharetta. Little shout out to them. He's designed to help clients between the ages of 40 and 60 years of age to regain your strength, weight loss, and the ultimate goal of building muscle. He's married to the famous music songwriter and singer, my daughter, Kylie Benamino. That's right, where they're expecting their first baby girl in September. So we're happy to have you here. Thanks, Kian, for showing up on this first episode.
Of course, man. Thanks for having me.
And also to my left is my partner in crime, Rocco Benamino. Rocco's a rising senior this year at East Forsyth High School and currently working as a technician for Cost Plus Processing this summer, while also he's starting a new journey in his life with the sport of wrestling. That's right. Rocco, how you doing, kiddo?
Good.
You sound a little tired there.
Yeah, I just woke up.
Man, I can't tell you how excited I am to be able to watch this journey, to see the story you're about to build here for kids out there today afraid of trying to start something new. I mean, I can't tell you how many kids that I meet that are athletic and look athletic, or they say, hey, I'd like to play football. I'd like to play, a sport, but they're afraid because they feel like they have never played their whole life. And they don't want to go out and try it because they're afraid of getting cut. They're afraid of failure and stuff. But for you to go out and do this your senior year, I mean, you're 17 years old, and to choose one of the hardest sports. And the reason why I say that is because you know what? Wrestling, there's no hiding. It's you and somebody else on the mat. There's nobody. It's not a team sport. Like you go to football, there's 11 people on the field. You kind of blend in. Baseball, there's 11 people on the field, and stuff. So, they're team sports. Basketball, team sports. Wrestling, it's you against them. So what made you choose wrestling, man?
I kind of just liked watching the sport for a little bit, and a few of my buddies started doing it. And so I liked, mess around with my friends and just kind of, wrestle on the mat, go for submissions, stuff like that. And I did MMA when I was a little kid. I had taken out of it. But I kind of always liked being a little fighter because my dad was a really good fighter and a boxer. So I kind of picked boxing up too a little bit when I was younger. So I still have a few like boxing moves in me, and so I really can't. I'm not gonna go out and box. So I was like, what's another alternative? And I can't fight in the UFC right now. So I was like, let me just do wrestling maybe and try it out and see. I mean, I know it's probably gonna help me in the long run, but the practices are miserable. But it definitely will put me better in shape too.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man, wrestling changed my life growing up because there's so many life lessons that you learn as a wrestler because you have to overcome adversity. Every single day is adversity. Every practice is adversity because I know coaches just try to break you, because they're getting you ready for when you're on that mat and there's 10 seconds left and you need that point to win, can you dig deep? Can you dig down and be able to do that and stuff? So kudos to you, man. Kudos to you, and a big shout out to Brooks. One of your first coaches there, helping you out there and being patient, teaching you some things. So I'm excited about the journey. Win or lose, man, you've already won. Because taking on the fact that you're willing to step on that mat with somebody else and not have the experience. Some of these kids have been wrestling since they were 7 years old, 6 years old, and wrestling their whole lives. So. I'm just tickled to death about that. Just wanted to say that for you, bud. And thanks for being here this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now, I do want to remind all of our listeners, please, this is our first podcast, Wham Bam's Podcast. And we ask that you subscribe to our channels. We're on YouTube. We're going to be on Spotify as well. But we're going to be doing probably one episode a week, just so that you know. So you don't want to miss them. So before we get started, I do want to give a shout out to our major sponsor. Wham Bam's Podcast is sponsored by Cost Plus Processing. That's right. Cost Plus Processing helps business owners nationwide eliminate up to 100% of the processing fees. Find out why they are the future of merchant processing by calling 1-855-391-9190. That's right. That's 1-855-391-9190. Mention this podcast and receive a bonus offer when you call. So let's get back into the show. Now, first topic we're going to talk about today, everybody wanted to know, and I got to apologize to a lot of people that reached out and called me over the last 9 weeks and stuff. Went through a traumatic experience being over in Italy and stuff. It was life. It was, my life was in jeopardy. And it was the first time that I had ever been in a situation like that. And we're going to discuss it today because, a lot of people have been praying for me. A lot of people have reached out to me. I can't tell you how much it meant to me, the amount of cards and gift baskets and special visits. Heck, I had, people come to the hospital and spent the night with me. It was just amazing. Like the love that was felt, it really, really, helped me go, keep going and stuff. But I know that a lot of people want to know what happened. What happened in Italy? Like, what happened to you, Phil? I mean, yes, I got sepsis. Yes, I almost died. Yes, I almost lost my arm. But what happened? So we're going to talk about this. So, obviously we had a trip to Italy. I was excited about bringing my family. It was a dream trip. I've been waiting for a very, very long time to do this trip with my mother and my sister and my kids and my son-in-law. And, I was very, very fortunate. I had a wonderful travel agent, Kian McCannon.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. She was awesome. Big shout out to Karen from CMC World Travel. She was phenomenal. She was our translator. She was our gatekeeper. She busted us through lines. She was our security guard. She was a little pit bull. We love her to death. We laughed.
She was tough.
Yeah, she was laugh. Yeah, she was tough. We laughed. We cried. We did it all.
The only
together.
one who could have dealt with the Benemino family in Italy. Honestly, she was the only one. Like with Rocco, with you, with Nana, with Kylie, with Pam. Like she's the only one. Like, and Kylie and I were in Ireland when we first went over. You guys had already got there.
Right.
And you guys were telling a story, and we saw photos. We're like, "Who's this woman who's always with you guys at dinner?" And I was like, "I don't know. Maybe it's just some Italian woman who just so happened to be in the same place at the same time or something." But no, this was your guide. And when we met her, we figured out why she was selected for you guys because there was a lot of stories that came up where she kind of took over. Like when we first got there, were you guys in Tuscany? Where is it? You were in the. We met you first was in like the countryside, villas, and it was like that hilly little town.
Oh, like with the
All the little stores and the coffee stores.
I don't remember what it was called.
We were over in Florence.
Just over Florence.
Yeah, we were over Florence.
Yeah, because we met you guys on a tour already, and she was like, all right, let's go to the cafe, let's get coffees, let's get croissants, let's get bagels, everything. And she just starts demanding stuff, pushing people out of the way. All the Italians looking at us like, what the hell are these Americans doing over here? But she bossed it. She was like incredible. So from that first day we met, I was like, all right, she's our savior for this trip. She really was.
She was savior for Rocco. Rocco, what was your experience?
Jesus. I don't know. It would have been interesting if we didn't have her because I sure as hell can't speak Italian. I can't listen to anyone. You can't listen to anyone. You can't take no for an answer. So it's kind of like, thank God we had her, and we're so damn picky when we're gonna go eat and stuff. So we like every meal we had was just like not on the menu. Like
It's so funny though. You really turned the way you felt about her because at first you're like, "Who's this woman with us?
Oh, I mean, I was definitely confused. Yeah, I was confused for,
Why is she sitting eating with us? Why is she with us everywhere? Like this woman just shows up."
Yeah, I was.
But then after your first meal that you wanted and you ordered and it came to perfection,
Yeah.
you were like, "Oh damn, Dad, we'd have been screwed if we didn't have her."
Yeah, whatever. It took 30 minutes just to order my meal. Like, it did not take that long.
So anyways, man, we're over in Italy and we went to Venice. We had a beautiful, gorgeous time. My mom just smiles ear to ear, it was just beautiful, just fantastic. My sister was there, Sharon. It was unbelievable, just having a great time. Went down to Florence, did a cooking class and everything else. That was really cool and fun. Many wineries, drinking the wine and having a good.
Oh, that first winery.
Oh, the first winery, I know.
Yeah, when we got there, that was
probably what set off the old vertigo that
no,
started.
I couldn't have. There is a photo though. It's you and I. We sitting. There's probably 35 glasses in front of us.
Yeah, because you remember that time, Kylie wasn't drinking her wine and Nana wasn't drinking hers.
Tom wasn't feeling well.
Rocco really wasn't drinking his. Although kids in Italy, they're drinking at 6 years old there. Like, it's no big deal for them. So.
Right. So, but when we sat down, there's 10 glasses in front of each person.
Oh yeah, me and you.
And then we were just like, all right,
we're not letting this wine go to waste.
We're not coming all the way to Italy and let wine go to waste on the table in front of us. And then the food.
Oh man, unbelievable.
Well, that was the place where we made the pasta.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. We made
that was the pasta making.
and then we got to eat it.
No, because remember and this is another shout
So we
out
made
to
like
Karan.
three different kinds. We made like 3 different kinds. We ate them all.
But shout out to Karan because when we got there, they were gonna put us outside in this like little kiosk van thing that they traveled on. It was cold, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And she goes, "No, absolutely not. Take me into the kitchen." We went into the kitchen where they were preparing for like this full banquet of people, and we just pulled up a chair and they pulled a table in. They were working behind us, like we were tasting food that was going out, and then the guy was like, "All right, we're doing pasta in here. Then where you guys are in the kitchen, you guys must be important." And then it became like, "Oh yeah, no, this is who we are." Yeah. So that was a cool experience.
Rocco made fettuccine.
Yeah,
Alfredo got to make his favorite
from scratch, and it was good.
It was.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we down that wine, everything else, and made our way down to the Amalfi Coast and over to Capri, and that was absolutely gorgeous. Rock, what do you think about the boat, the boats and stuff, and the drivers?
I mean, it still kind of blows my mind. I mean, like the entire time, I wanted, as bad as it may sound, I wanted someone to hit someone. Like, I just wanted someone to run into something, hit a wall, hit something. But no, it wasn't gonna happen. I don't know why, but
Controlled chaos.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, they can drive a boat better with their eyes closed, going backwards, than I can with my eyes open, going forwards.
It was pretty bizarre. They made it
Weird.
some tight. We went into some caves and some tunnels, and they were getting into some tight areas, and we were like, "There's no way we're gonna drive through there." And sure as heck, he found a way, man. Yeah. The pizza guy was the boat guy.
While drinking some wine, he was single arm with the motor. Just no problem.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, and he was giving the tour.
Look, I'm getting all excited again, man.
Yeah.
Going back into there, being there on that was a good day, good time. Up until we got up to Sorrento. Sorrento is where things started going downhill. And this, keep in mind, is, we're about 3 hours from Rome still. So we're staying the night in Sorrento. Then we're heading to Rome. We're going to be in Rome for Italy, to the Vatican, and all that good stuff. And we're for Easter. We were all super excited and everything. And that morning we woke up and my Irish son decided we're going to do something.
Well, yeah, I've said it before. Any country you go to, if you're near the coast, get in the water. Just always get in the water. It's that memento that you have. Always bring back. Like, I can safely say I've been in the coast on the west coast of America. I've been in any ocean that I've been near. The coldest I've ever been was in the Baltic, on the north of Poland. That was cold. Then Ireland, and then of course Italy comes up. I'm like, guys, we gotta go. I'm not gonna go by myself.
And your boy Wham Bam here isn't gonna turn anything down.
You love a good ice bath.
I'm fine with the Florida beach ocean. Just relaxing, nice. You get to see nice fish. There's women there, but nope. Nope.
What is about 40 degrees? The water would be my guess.
Getting stared at by own men while I was getting in the ocean, freezing my ass off.
Because they all thought we were crazy.
Yeah. Yep. What are these crazy Americans doing?
Yeah.
They didn't realize that the Irishman is the one that
He was
got
the
us
ringleader.
there.
Yeah.
He was the ringleader.
He's the real crazy one.
So we started off our journey that morning, getting into the sea and taking a dip in the Mediterranean Sea, and it was quite cold, but it was fun. It was relaxing for me with my knee and all the walking we were doing. It actually was like cryotherapy to me, man. It was pretty nice.
It was good.
But after that, we had to walk about 600 feet high up a side of a cliff with steps and stuff, which was absolutely gorgeous. Don't get me wrong, but I think one of my funniest and memories of that journey walking up with my two boys was Rocco huffing and puffing and going, "Stop! Let's just enjoy the beautiful sight."
I was tired, bro. I was tired. I was cold. My feet hurt. I was like, you know what? We're here for a reason. Let's just look.
We're here for a reason.
Just look. Just look.
But your reason was to take a breath, and I'm like trying to get a quick little workout in too. Like, let's just get up this freaking cliff.
Just keep sprinting.
Yeah.
It was a journey.
I'm not gonna lie. The second time when you decided to stop, I was quite happy you did.
Yeah.
Because I did have to catch my breath.
It's like, all right, let's wait.
Yeah, it was tiring for sure.
So we got up to the cliff. We went back to the hotel, and they had a beautiful, up on the rooftop pool. They were sitting there, and then we all ordered drinks and stuff. We ordered food, and I'll never forget. I ordered a blue margarita, and everybody tasted it. So
we got 3 different drinks.
Yeah, we got 3 different drinks. We wanted to try
them,
them all, their little samples and stuff. It was fun. We were having a good time. Got into the pool there, and me and Rocco were in the pool and stuff, and we were laughing and giggling and stuff. It was getting, it was pretty warm. It wasn't too cold at that point in time.
The pool was warm.
The pool was warm.
Yeah, it was a heated
pool. So it was a big difference between the sea, obviously. But once I got out of the pool, that's where everything went down. So I got out of the pool, and I literally started spinning. My head, when I say spinning, I'm talking, I felt like I was going probably 100 to 200 miles an hour, and I could not stop.
We thought you were joking. We honestly did, because remember, you were sitting down flat, and then you sat up, and you go, hold on, I'm spinning. And you and I, Rocco, we looked at each other, we're like, oh, okay, maybe he's just joking, whatever. I don't know why.
Because you know what? When I stood up, I thought maybe if I got out of the sun, maybe I was just, I was like, is it the sun? I was trying to get to the shade.
Yeah.
And that's when I stood up and I tried to walk over across the way to the shade where that sofa was. And that's where I fell down. I couldn't control myself. The slight movement of my neck felt like my head was falling off my head. Yeah. It was the most bizarre feeling. And if anybody's had an aggressive attack of vertigo, man, I feel for you. I'm sorry. I've been there now, and I know what it's about, and it ain't fun. I don't wish it on anybody, not my worst enemy. Mm-mm. And, unfortunately at the time, I didn't know what I was going through. In fact, I thought I was drugged.
Yeah, well, that's what we thought, because originally when we looked at you, your eyes will not stop shattering left and right. Like they were speeding. Like we thought something had gone wrong, and Rocco and I were kind of just looking at each other, and we're like, all right, we got to take care of him.
Yeah.
And, Brock, I know it was like a scary moment for you. Like, how did you feel when this was all going down, when your dad was just kind of taken down?
At first, I thought it was kind of just like him messing around with us, because I was like, I was giggling. Like, I was like, it was like, I wasn't.
We were giggling all morning. We were having a good time.
So I thought it was just like one of those moments where, Dad trying to be funny.
Yeah, unfortunately, that wasn't the case, man.
Yeah.
When I knew from the neck down, I was my head couldn't stop spinning. When I closed my eyes, it kept spinning. I didn't know what was going on, and like I said, I thought I got drugged. I thought somebody gave me something. I knew something wasn't right. That I did know, and then I started vomiting and projectile. Like I felt like there was a demon inside of me.
Yeah.
It was the most. I've never thrown up like that in my life.
Yeah, I've never seen that much throw up in my life.
And to know that everybody was walking around the pool area staring at me with their phones out and everything else, I became on display.
Yeah, well, Kylie was there at the time. Remember, she came up just before that, and I think Rocco, you were almost starting to fight with like a group of 4 kids.
Oh yeah,
4 guys.
There's a bunch of guys just videoing and laughing.
I think you were about to go over and start brawling, and then Kylie stopped you from that. Because emotions were high. We didn't know what was going on. I was trying to take care of you with like as much as I could, trying to calm the storm because their lifeguard didn't know what he was doing.
I do remember him coming over and Kylie saying, take his his vitals. And he said, you know what? I'm sorry. I've never done this before in my life.
Yeah. He's like, he brought out.
But he's their lifeguard.
Yeah. He brought it out. He's like, I have no idea what to do. I don't know. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Right.
But luckily, like I'm first aid, CPR, AED certified for my job.
Very thankful.
So I was like, all right, let me take your blood pressure. It seemed normal.
Right.
But nothing made sense because your eyes were going crazy. You were shaking. You're vomiting. Like you could barely breathe. Your breathing was accelerating.
Yeah.
So something was going on.
Yeah. And at the point, I didn't know if I was just dehydrated. And I was like, listen, just, get me to the room. Let me lay down. They wanted to bring me to the hospital right away. I was, for some reason, my sixth sense have always been right. I just really has. And for some reason, I did not want to go to the hospital.
The EMS had come, yeah.
And originally they wheeled me into the bed, into my room, into the bedroom. And they brought a doctor to me where they were going to give me an IV. And when the guy showed up, I was so pale and white. He said he was not going to issue me the IV. We needed to call an ambulance. Remember that? Yeah, that. So, ambulance shows up, and
that was a journey to get you to the ambulance.
Yeah. Well, you can talk about that.
Yeah.
Because I was out of it at that point. Because I remember my eyes being covered because the light was bothering me so much.
Any type of movement with you, even if you were laying down flat, turned over, your body would just start shaking. You couldn't control anything. So I remember we had to slowly move you to a seated position and then get you to lift because they wanted to bring the dolly in, but they couldn't get around the bend of that room. So they had to bring the wheelchair and then to get you onto the wheelchair, get you downstairs, and then get you to the lobby where they had the gurney. But then to get you onto that was a whole process. And this was in the middle of the lobby. Like people are around, it was a lot.
Well, I do remember they couldn't get me lifted.
No, we had to drop the line.
Listen, Italians in Italy are not big Italians. They're small.
They're not like New York.
Rocco used to say that when we were out there.
There's no fat people.
There's no fat people in Italy. For some reason, you guys think Italians are all fat. No. Me? Yeah, I might be one of those little fluffier Italians, I'll call myself. But, the reality is everything over there is farm to table. And
better food, yeah.
Yeah, it's a different type. So they're all small and skinny and thin and so they had to round up a bunch of people once they put me on this gurney to get me into the ambulance. And all I remember was I didn't know if I'm having a brain aneurysm at that. I don't know what's going on.
Panic set.
But it was definitely panic. And I didn't. All I knew is I was going to the hospital. They were putting me in a ambulance and away I was going. But they wouldn't let you guys go.
No. So do you
remember Kylie was trying to get in and they wouldn't let me go.
Yeah. So it became a point where we had to really kind of designate who was going. So Rocco, I mean, I know emotions were high because it was, you've seen your dad like this. You've never seen him weak like this. Mm-hmm. So, emotions were high for sure. So we talked about, okay, well, Rocco, we're not going to let Rocco go. Kylie's, 4 months pregnant at this time? 5 months pregnant?
Yeah, 5 months.
Yeah. So we're like, we're not letting her go. You got your 74-year-old mother, 78-year-old mother. I'm like, yeah, Nana's not going.
Right.
Pam is still panicking as well. She's like freaking out. So I'm like, all right, this is me. I'm trying to get in the back of the ambulance, and they have a rule in Italy: you can't have anyone else in the ambulance with you.
Right.
Anyone.
Yep.
So then it became a term when I turned to Rocco, and I think do you remember this? I don't know if you remember this in the shock, but I grabbed you by the shoulders and I looked at you.
We were still in next to the room, right?
No, that was another time. Yeah, but that was another time. But it was downstairs in the lobby when I kind of just turned to you and I was like, hey, this is a time where I'm gonna need you to step up real
Oh
quick.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I watched Kylie and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember this.
Yeah. So I told him, I was like, you need to protect Kylie. That's my first and foremost, my most worry. Obviously, I'm worried about Phil, but you got to protect Kylie. You got to bring her stress down. You got to protect Nana and Pam. You got to be the man right now. So I said, I'm going to go with your dad, and then you're going to protect everyone here. And you kind of looked at me with fear, but you also were like, all right, I'm time to step up. And I was proud of you for that, man. Mm-hmm. I was real proud of you.
That's good. I'm proud of everybody because the outcome, I wouldn't have been able to do it without you as well. But, so I'm in the ambulance, and I remember the guy trying to stick a needle in my arm and put the IV. I thought he was going to put a bag on me, knowing that I was dehydrated from throwing up and stuff. Of course, I'm in my swim trunks, so I'm still wet.
Yeah.
And I'm frozen. I'm shivering, and I don't know what's going on. And this guy can't find a vein. Now, I'm veiny as hell. You guys all see me, and stuff. Like, it's not too hard to find a vein, and this guy was struggling to do that. And, of course, I'm still spinning. I have not stopped spinning at this point in time and everything. And all of a sudden, this guy's starting to put my needle in, which he goes for the second time, and my bed starts moving, and I shift out, and I hit the back of the doors, and one of the door flies open. And stuff.
This.
You saw this?
Well, no. Well,
you were running
at this
right?
point because they told me where the hospital was and the laneways to take. So I was like, fuck, he's gonna get there before me. So I took off. I grabbed bags. I took off running. It wasn't until after I found out when I talked to Kylie about this that apparently as soon as you had set off, the ambulance set off, your whole chair, boom, hit the back of the ambulance and boom, flew open.
Yeah.
And they had to stop and pause. And they had basically, okay, we got to go out, reset it, close the doors, lock you in, and then go from there.
Yeah, and fortunate the one door didn't pop open, and that's what kept me inside the ambulance. Or I'd have been out in the middle of the road, man.
From there, we should have known, okay, something's different.
Yeah.
Something's going on.
Well, and then at that point, they stopped the ambulance, and they came in, and they tied me down. Mm-hmm. So now I'm on this gurney, and I'm tied down. I got a towel over my head, so I can't see nothing.
Yeah.
And all I can do is hear and smell. And of course, everything I'm hearing is in Italy, so Italian, I should say. And I don't speak Italian, unfortunately. You know what I mean? So I don't have any clue of what he's saying. And he's trying to stick me with his needle still, in and outside my arm, which eventually he got it in there and it didn't feel good. I ain't gonna lie. I've had my blood taken many times. I've done IV therapy. I go once a month just to get vitamins and stuff in me. I've never had really any issues, but this one didn't feel right. It felt different, and it was burning, and I didn't know it was because I was going through what I was going through, and of course I had a lot of anxiety, but I know I pulled into the hospital, and I was in the ambulance, and I felt like I was there forever.
Yeah, because what had happened originally, do you remember they had the festival going on?
Yes.
It was Easter.
I remember hearing that. Yes. They were marching.
They were marching, and it was a very religious ceremony, and there was religious music being played. So that must have freaked you out as well, just hearing that.
Oh yeah, I thought I was. I thought
you saw crosses at the side of your windows, like it was.
It was well, and I knew that was coming because when we pulled into the hospital, you were already there.
I beat you guys to the hospital.
Yeah, that was amazing. Like I'm like, how did he? But I knew they had to stop and get me tied down and everything.
I mean, I took off to the alleyways. I actually ran past the hospital and had to double back because I couldn't find my way. Got there, didn't see any ambulance pull in. I was like, damn, this is the wrong hospital. I was freaking out. And then about 2 minutes later, you guys pull in. But then they all got out of the ambulance except for you. And they walked in the ER, like entrance, whatever. And just like they kind of power walked in, came back out about 5 minutes later, just slowly walking. Didn't say a word.
Yeah, no, I mean, I sat there forever. And then
45 minutes.
45 minutes?
You were about 45
Wow.
minutes to an hour sitting in the ambulance, upset, like obviously didn't know what was going on. I remember looking.
I could have died. I could have been dying right there in front of them. They didn't care. And I knew right then and there, I was thankful that I saw you when you came to me because I could hear your voice. And you're like, I'm here, Phil. And then
because they actually locked the door of the side of the ambulance. They locked it because they went off to smoke a cigarette.
Oh, wow.
So I couldn't get in. So I was kind of talking to you through the window. And I've got like security looking at me, like I'm talking to this ambulance. The ambulance people are down at the end watching the parade. They're smoking cigarettes. There's no hospital people coming in. I'm like, where's the answers? What's going on? Yeah. So
that's very bizarre. And I remember freezing. I remember chilling. I remember you saying, you still spinning? I'm like, yes, I can't move. I couldn't get my body up. I could not control my legs, my arms. I couldn't move if I wanted to. And that was the scariest part about what I was going through, because I was spinning and everything. Thank God I couldn't throw up anymore, but I knew I was dehydrated. I knew I needed a bag, which they had this needle in my arm, but they never put a bag on.
No,
me
it was just
and
a
stuff.
line. They
It
didn't,
was,
they
yeah,
didn't
they just,
connect it.
right. So I remember you saying, hey, you know, we're going to get you in there and get you a room and stuff. And then I guess in time, they wheeled me in. And I just assumed I was in a room, but when they wheeled me in, all I did was hear people and smell cigarette smoke constantly. And I'm sitting there, and I waited for a little bit, and it seemed like an hour went by or a long time went by, and I got to a point where I was actually, because I could hear people, and I was like I was trying to raise my hand, but I couldn't get my hand up, so I was like, help me. Like I was yelling, help me, thinking at least they know the word help, you know, in Italian. And unfortunately, people were walking by me and kind of, I felt like they were laughing, going like Americana, Americana, you know, and stuff and everything. And I didn't know where I was, but I knew I wasn't in a good spot, and I could smell smoke and I could hear noise, and I knew nobody around me until you showed up.
Well, yeah, because the way that ER worked there was a sliding door, almost like a prison sliding door that opened, but it was obviously, you had a certain tag you had to scan. So to get into that, and there was a little window by the side that there was never someone there, like never. You had to shout into that window into the back, and someone would come and let the ambulance people through or whatever. But then beyond that, there was another sliding door. So there's two sliding doors back to back, and you could only get past one if you had a tag, and the second one you could press a button. So I remember I was waiting out there. I could see when they pulled you through that. When they opened those two doors, I could see you in the hallway. You're in the hallway.
Wow. And see, and I didn't know that. It's funny because I remember when you did show up, and I asked you because you're like, man, you're still here. And I'm like, dude, am I in the cafeteria? I felt like I was in the cafeteria because I kept smelling all odd smells and hearing all this noise. And you're like, no, you're in the hallway.
You were just past that second door to the left. Like you didn't even make it close to the start of the hallway, honestly, of the emergency room. They had just wheeled you in and put you beside that second door.
And that had been hours. How long was I sitting there?
You were about 2.5 hours.
Now, I know the whole time I was there was about a day and a half, almost 2 days. So I know I was there a long time. So obviously I lost track of time. I just realized that, you know, I was sitting there biting my tongue because I was trying to create saliva so I could drink. I was dying of thirst, and I didn't have anything.
Well, they didn't have any.
They still hadn't had a bag on me.
They had no bag in you at this point. And then finally, they got to a point where like, all right, let's take care of it. And I remember looking through, because when I got through to you originally.
When you came in, that's when I recall, because I was like, they don't care about me here. They haven't seen me, and they still don't even have a bag. I got this needle in me with no IV and nothing connected to it.
The blood had dried in that whatever needle you had in it. The blood is like dark red in it, like so it had dried up. So they must have changed it when you were still in the hallway.
Yeah.
And then put a bag on you finally, I don't know, 3 hours later.
But it wasn't a bag that puts fluids in me. It actually took fluids out of me.
Yeah, it wasn't set up right. It was weird. It was a weird, I don't know what it was, because at that point, that was the first time I got kicked out. Because I was in the hallway, and they were like, you can't be in the hallway, blah, blah, blah. They were like, oh, we have all these rules. So I wanted to play like, okay, like that's fine. Just make sure he gets taken care of. Make sure, like, I want to know what's going on. And that was the first time, like, the head nurse came out to me and talked to me and said, listen, we've got him now. We're going to take care of him. And she spoke a little English.
So that's when they wheeled me into this room, I guess. Again, I can't see. All I can do is smell and hear. But I have a bag on me. I don't know. I'm assuming it's, I'm getting fluids. I find out they put it like a diurect that's taking fluids out of me at that point in time. And I'm sitting there for hours. Now I got to urinate. I got to go to the bathroom. Nobody's checking on me. Nothing. And there's no nurse. There's nobody around. There's no nothing. And then 6-7 hours later, when you busted back in and you showed up and you're like, oh my God, here you are. And you said, my bag had blood in it, and stuff, because I guess after it goes empty, it acts as a vacuum and starts sucking your blood back up. And you're saying,
had blood straight back open.
And at that point in time, you're like, wow, they really haven't checked on you. And I'm like, no, man, they're leaving me here to die. And I remember, man, I kept, because, I follow some people like David Goggins and stuff like that. Rocco always, he's always sending me TikToks and stuff with him and everything. And, I just kept telling myself, you don't know me, son. I got to stay alive. I'm trying to stay alive here in my head because honestly,
That wasn't in your head. You were talking that.
No,
you were talking to yourself half
trust
the
me,
time.
I had a lot of talks with God. We got real close through this journey. And the truth of the matter is, I thought, is this where it's going to end? Like, am I going to die here in Italy? Like, I just had the time of my life with my family. And now this is the story. They're going to go home and say, "Man, Phil died." And like this, it was horrifying. Like, I wasn't going to let that happen because I got too much left to do, man. And I do have a passion for life. I do. It's not that I'm, well, I guess I am a little still afraid of dying, but I enjoy life. Like, I really do. And I just feel like I got a lot more. I'm just getting started. I really just feel that way. But at the time when you came in, you saw the blood, you're like, there's blood. And that freaked me out because, again, I can't see nothing. So I hear it and I'm like, oh, shoot.
Yeah.
And I remember you like, you got the nurse and all to come over and to change it. And I guess she put another Direct on me, another bag that takes more fluids out of me.
She did the same thing. And they weren't explaining anything to us. They didn't say like what you had done before, like where you had gone, if they had taken you for scans or anything.
So, the one thing I got to say, Kian, and, you obviously I love you, you're my son-in-law and all, but, what you did for me during that time frame, you really leveled up. I mean, and, I had to go to the bathroom. Kian, you're finding a garbage pail, you got me pissing and stuff and everything. And that's embarrassing. You know what I'm saying? But it was needed. And, you didn't think nothing of it. You made it happen. And, your passion and your love that you showed for me was obvious. And I remember saying the one point to you, I was like, "Man, thank you so much for this." And I think you made a comment to me, and mark me if I'm wrong, but I remember this, you was like, "Well, I have to because your daughter is, she can't come in here. So I have to be her eyes and ears.
Yeah.
And in order for her to be healthy, you have to be healthy because it was stressing her out and the baby too."
Yeah,
I
think it was something along the lines. I'm like, yeah, I can't let you go because then it's gonna affect Kylie's health and it's gonna then affect my daughter's health. So I'm like, this is like a domino effect. So it starts with you. So let's get you better.
So wherever the motivation came for, thank God.
because when I went in there first, I was shocked because the room that you were in was not a private room. There was 4 other people in that room. Or 3 other people at the time, right? And when I walked in, it smelled, like you said, of cigarettes, but you didn't see. There's dry blood on the walls. There's like dirt in the corners. There's spider webs in the curtains.
That explains the sepsis that I got.
Well, you know what's crazy? In hospitals here in America, like when you take an injection, I take a needle out, there's a special box, like a chemical box that you put them in.
Yeah.
That chemical box was an open, like regular trash can you find in like Walmart.
Yeah.
By your bed. Right by the exit. So anytime people they would take their gloves off, throw it against the wall, it would splatter blood, whatever. It was right beside you.
Well, the guy that blew this, because I remember smelling the cigarette smoke. The guy
he lit the smoke up in the room. As he was walking out. The doctor.
He like threw the cigarette. It was bizarre.
Yeah, and then when I was back there. This is the second time I got back. They wheeled someone in a panic, and it was a rush. And I remember pulling the curtain because I was like, shit, like I don't want to get kicked out of here. To like make sure that you're okay. And they wheeled this guy in and he you could smell him. Like he may have been homeless or through a tough time or whatever he has, but he came in and he was missing half of his leg and it was all taped up.
Yeah.
And it was taped up big time. Like there was blood, there was a lot of stuff going on. He was crying. There was another woman like screaming in the corner praying, I think in Italian, like she was crying out. And they remember like pulling the curtain back, looking at me being like, and while this nurse is looking at me, she kind of just staring at my eyes, and I'm looking at her, and I'm like, I'm not moving.
And that's when she kicked you out.
And that's when that's not. She didn't kick me out. She started shouting in Italian. I'm like holding on to the bed, and I'm like, I'm not moving. And they start bringing in things like for surgery, like into the room. Yeah. And I'm like, what the hell? And then this like 6'6" security guard comes in, and like. I've seen some big security guards in my past. Like, talk about big security in Poland. They're big skinheads, but like. This guy came in and he just went straight for me. Like they said, this guy grabbed me by the scruff of the neck, pulled, and I didn't move. So then he knew, okay, he's putting up a fight. And I was trying to explain to him, like, no.
All I remember is hearing you that you had to go, and I was like, don't leave me.
I had no option.
I go, Kian, I'm going to die here. Don't leave me. And you said, I'll be back.
Yeah, I got turfed out real
and
nice.
And that's when the lady said she was going to take me back for a CT scan, because I remember that piece. And you're like, I'll be back. And they wheeled me back for the CT scan, and that's where it got real. Unfortunately for me, the only thing that I could hear and understand, because I couldn't move, I physically could not move. In fact, they tried when they went to get me onto the CT scan. They said, "Get over here," and I'm like, "I can't move. I'm still spinning. Like I don't even know how to, how to get my legs up and stuff." So they brought in 3 or 4 people, and they basically leaned me up, slid a piece of board underneath me, and got me over onto the machine and through it. And all I heard was brain surgery, that I would need brain surgery, and they're going to do brain surgery. And I freaked out. That's when I was crying. I was calling from a Karen. I was like, "I want Karen. I want my translator."
Yeah.
I was like, because I didn't know what they were saying. All I made out was brain surgery, and they were laughing. I mean, literally, they were laughing. And I'm telling you, I'm not making this up in my head, because I lived it, and it was devastating, because I thought, shoot, they cut me open, it's all over. Like, and I thought about all these horror stories in Mexico and things you hear about people, getting their kidneys sold and all, everything else. And here I am, and I'm thinking, they don't care about me. They haven't even checked on me. I mean, they put an IV in me, and it ended up, with blood in it. They never came. I'm peeing myself. Like they don't care. And I was scared to death, and they wheeled me back in, and I was so thankful you made your way again back in.
Yeah, this was post that surgery that they did in the big room that they had, and I remember doing the same thing, waiting for the two double doors. It was like Prison Break. It was like 2 double doors to open at a certain time, and then just to walk in with like another nurse, like someone different, didn't know me, or it's kind of hard not to blend in when I'm 6'3", tall, pasty white guy, But and I've got like
at least you're European looking.
Yeah. At least I'm European.
Was this after I brought you the burger?
This was before. This is before you guys showed. This is all like the chaos that ensued like throughout that night. Yeah, because you guys were still at the hotel. I was trying to text you guys because I had your phone. My phone didn't work over there. Right. I was texting Kylie, and I was like trying to give her updates, and she's like, "What's his blood pressure?" She's sending all her details back to our home nurse over here. Shout out to Miranda Dressel.
Big shout out
to Miranda Dressel, our emergency room nurse that we rely on for anything. She's over here at Northside for Scythe. But yeah, this was way before that, Rock. This is before anything communication wise. And I remember getting back there, and they wheeled you back in, and then you were just so thankful that I was in that room.
Oh yeah.
But I was kind of like, oh crap, like this room has gotten so much worse. Like we don't know. They're not explaining. They didn't come down and tell us anything about results.
Right.
Like where you were.
All I knew is they said brain surgery. When you came out, I was like, Ian, you got to get me out of here. And that's when I made a decision and I was trying to get in my head where I could stop spinning so I could literally pull this needle on my arm and walk out of there. But I couldn't stop spinning. And I was like, Kian, you got to get me out of here. I don't care what you, and I remember you say, can you get in a wheelchair? Yeah. And I'm like, I can't move, but you can throw me in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Like, do what you got to do to get me in that wheelchair.
Because that night, was it later that night you guys showed up then with Karin, Kylie, everyone showed up, Nana and Rocco.
This when we were leaving?
No, was that the next day?
It was the next day. It was because we brought you the burger in the afternoon, kind of.
Yeah, it was the next afternoon.
In the morning. Yeah. It was like actually in the morning. It was probably like 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And then that night is when we left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at that point in time when I said that, and I remember you came back in with Karen, and she started giving hell. I could hear her talking to people and everything.
Going off.
And that was, and she threw a pen in my hand and said, "Here, sign this real quick. Scribble your name." She's like, "We're signing him out. He's signing himself out."
Well, no,
because they weren't going to let us go.
They weren't going to discharge you.
Right.
They weren't going to let you because they said even if you sign, you can't leave. And that's when me and Karen were just like, "What? Like, no, we're leaving. You guys are not taking care of him. You're doing surgeries right beside him. You're not telling us anything. Like, you clearly half of you speak English, right. And like you're able to translate because we've communicated back and forth. And like, there's like the deplorable standards of the hospital there was insane. There was no vending machine. There's no water. What's it called? Fountains. Nothing. Like I couldn't get a cup of water. I had to go to the bathroom, fill up a little cup, and from the faucet.
Crazy. Wow.
But like it was just disgusting. And I remember trying to get to that point to get you out, and I was then kicked out for the 4th time by the whole nursing staff and security guard again because I was kind of going off a little bit. I was tired. I hadn't slept either. I was like, all right, I'm stressing out about this now. We're getting them out. I took all your stuff, your sleep app, everything. Because the sleep app's the one that actually helped.
The sleep app is what kept me alive. Yeah. I'm not going to thank God you brought that because I felt like I was getting some oxygen. at least.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And stuff. That was really the only thing that I really had that was helping me.
Yeah.
You know, because the fluids are coming out of me. But I remember after McCarran, you guys got me in that wheelchair and said, listen, you know, we're taking them. And you said, we got a van outside. We're going to drive 3 hours to Rome. We're going to get you to Rome. We'll get you some better
Rocco,
health care.
What was that like when you guys were setting up the van at the hotel? 'Cause you had to get all the bags.
Yeah. No, I had to get all the bags.
Oh, you had to get all the bags.
Yes, because the lady. Remember the lady left? Oh no. Yeah, the lady left. Like the front desk lady left. So I was like calling the phones. And at the time we were already out of our rooms. Like we already like paid and everything. And the bags were upstairs. And so no, like we couldn't find anyone to come get our bags. So I had to literally wheel all the bags into an elevator.
17 bags.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is not, I mean, you got a bunch of bags.
I had
17
17 bags. I couldn't fit in the elevator. I put them in the elevator and I went to the, you know, that single elevator that we got like in the back. It's like for the room service elevators, like the looking lids. I went in the single elevator, took the elevator down, met the other elevator with our bags in it at the bottom of the floor. Got all the bags. So I had to take multiple trips. So I was like in a hurry. So I just took them all out, loaded them up.
Played
Jesus.
Tetris, yeah.
Yes.
You were playing Tetris with the van.
Oh my god! And luckily, that one dude. What was his name? The driver.
The driver's name from.
Don't look at me.
No,
I
I'm
can't
not
help
looking
you
at
on
you.
that one.
'Cause we
I
had
can't
to
help
set-
you on
we-
that
yeah,
one.
it was a three
Was it
passenger
Mario?
tier. Mario sounds familiar. Yeah, I think it was Mario because it was a 3-tier van. So like there was the front seat that had 3 seats, the middle seats that had 3 seats that you were laying
You
down.
guys
So we
laid
had
me
to keep
down
you
and-
flat, and then Kylie, Rocco, and myself in the back.
Well, I will say one thing about Rocco. The one good thing that you packed was the damn neck pillow. I remember I've had this neck pillow. You know, you fly in airplanes, you know, you have those little neck pillows. Well, I had this neck pillow for many, many years. I never used it. I always thought it was goofy. I don't know. It just didn't feel right on me when I used it and stuff. And I remember leaving before we were packing, and Rocco said, hey, Dad, do you want me to bring this pillow? And I'm like, nah, that's okay. And Rocco's like, you know what? I'm going to take it. And I'm like, all right, go ahead, son. Rocco, thank God you took that pillow. That pillow freaking saved my life because by putting that pillow around my neck, it kept my neck from shaking, especially that 3.5 ride to Rome and stuff when we got there, which was huge. And, you know, laying me down in that one thing, and I know you guys were piled up. I got Kian, Kylie, and Rocco in the back, and my mom and my sister, and there was, you know, driver in the front and stuff with McCarran and our translator, and the bags are packed up, and people had bags on their laps and everything else. And
You missed this one trick, and I don't know if you remember this because you were pretty out of it. But remember we got to Rome, and there was a certain street that we took.
Oh, the red light.
It was through the red light district of Rome. And
that.
Phil was like, he was laying down flat. He had his eyes covered.
And we finally heard something. He finally laughed.
Yeah,
gotta give it
that was the
up.
first reassurance that you gave the family that he was okay, because Karen was in the front and goes, Rocco. She goes, yeah. She goes, do you know what the red light district is? And he's like, no. And she goes, see that corner right there, the bus stop? He goes, yeah. He goes, see those 2 women on the side? He goes, yeah. She goes, doesn't it look a little bit too cold to be wearing those type of things? He goes, yeah. He goes, well, I'm going to let you use the imagination for the rest. And Rocco's eyes lit up. He's grinning ear to ear. Kylie's got her head in her hands like, oh my God. And then you just hear this little, oh, where are they? Like from Phil. Like he's like, oh, Rocco, what? Dude, you got to tell me exactly what it was like. And he's let out this little giggle.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I think you gave everyone in the van like reassurance that
I'm alive.
Oh, he's alive. He's still with it. He's still here. Like part of Phil's still here. And then when we got to Rome, that's when Corinne had it all set up where.
yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah.
So getting into hotel room there, obviously I wasn't going to go to hospital in Rome. No. I said, bring the doctor to me. Corinne did that. Kudos again. Big shout out to her. Doctor coming to me and stuff. And that's really when I started to I stopped spinning. I finally got to sleep.
You canceled on the doctor.
You know, the second time, yeah, I didn't want, because I was relaxed.
Well,
and
yeah,
everything.
that's what. Yeah, when you got to the
know.
room, what was the difference like for you?
Well, being in a room, number one, I knew I had help. Rocco was there with me. You guys were there with me, coming in, checking on me. I had, I could go to the bathroom. I had people helping me. It was quiet. I could sleep. I wasn't worried about somebody cutting my brain open.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And stuff, going to do brain surgery on me and stuff. And I would sleep for 11, 12 hours. Rocco would order room service. It was pitch dark. We kept it black because at that point in time, you guys had done a lot of research on vertigo and what to do and try to help and stuff. I remember Kylie even calling Dominique, physical therapist. Dominique FaceTimed
Shout out to
in.
Dominique
Big shout out
Burry.
to Dominique Burry. given us some exercises to do to try to realign these crystals, which I believe worked at the time because I was messed up
night and day.
And I did get better after doing some of those exercises.
Better is a strong word because of where you were at the point. It was to a point where you were manageable to you could sit up, you could bathe yourself.
I was able to take a cane and walk to the bathroom and go to the bathroom and stuff, which was huge. My balance obviously was still all over the place, but I could hold on to the wall and follow the wall to the bathroom.
I was the cane, by the way.
Yeah.
It wasn't the cane, it was the cane. I was the cane.
I was holding on to Rocco. You were the cane. You made a good cane, son. I'm very, very thankful for that.
That's one thing definitely like from the trip that you should take, like when Rocco obviously maturing and stepping up in that way, Kylie too as well. Obviously Kylie's a lot
Everybody
older.
did.
Everybody did, but to really like, even when we went out in Rome, like while you were still resting, it was all like everyone was worried about making sure, like Kylie was on the phone about vitals to Miranda, like we were making sure, okay, we get everything set up. Nana was like asking questions to Corinne. Rocco was texting us, giving us updates. Like Pam had flown back at this point.
Right.
She'd already flown back, so she was communicating. Everyone was kind of like, it was like Team Phil getting the plan together for the return.
Well, and I was very thankful. And Rocco staying by my side, man. It was like I said, you know, we shared a lot of conversations and stuff, but the fact that you were very responsive to my situation and being there for me was huge, you know. And I knew it was scary because I'd never been like this before, you know, and to the point where I wasn't able to walk and stuff. And you know, you were very gentle with me, so I thank you for that stuff. And not to mention, you made sure I had tiramisu all the time, some dessert with my lunches and stuff. It helped me out. But you know, after about the third day, that's when I started getting better and better and better. And then it was time to go. It was time to get on the flight and head home. And unfortunately, I felt, you know, and the doctor said, hey, you know, it's a 50-50 shot getting on a plane. You could, you know, spiral this vertical back again, start spinning. But so I felt like I really needed a couple more days there. And that's when I knew, Kian, you had to get back from work. And, you know, my mom was there and Kylie was there. And I said, hey, you know, you go back with Kylie and my mom. I'll stay with Rocco and Karen, you know, a few more days. And that's when that was not going to happen.
That was not a that was not a point of conversation because Rocco, you looked at me.
I was so mad.
You like when I had that moment with you in Sorrento when I looked, you was like, "Hey, you need to do this." Like that look I gave you. You gave me that same look when you looked at me. You was like, "I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving my dad here. I'm not leaving him alone. Like I'm staying."
Because I remember you wanted to just leave Kylie. You wanted. I remember you wanted me, Nana, and Keen to go back, and you wanted to leave Kylie.
No. I said you. It was always you.
It
was always you. Because Kylie was pregnant.
Yeah, he wanted to send Kylie back.
It was always you, but they were afraid. They said, you know, Rocco's a little nervous. He's still young. You know, he's scared. He doesn't want to be here long. And it all made sense. At the end of it all, you know, it was like, you know what, we're going to ride together. Let's go. So we're going to do this. So I told that, hey, we're going.
Yeah, we had to kind of have a strong conversation with you. Like, hey, Phil, it's time to book up. This is happening. And
it did. And let me tell you what, you had the wheelchair. I felt like Stevie Wonder running through the airport.
I had the Gucci glasses. Remember
Kylie's brand new Gucci glasses that you bought her on because the light was bothering me. I had the neck pillow.
We got to have a photo of that somewhere, don't we?
Yeah, we got photos. I'm sure you guys took a photo of me.
I had
Kylie show me, but listen, and again, shout out to Karen because, you know, going through, you know, the security and through customs, it was a whiz. Like they didn't mess. They saw me and they're like, let them through. Honest to God, like everything I had on me, who knows what I could have had on me, but they let me through, and I was very thankful for that.
Yeah.
Thank God I was flying Delta One, so yes, I had a bed, so they laid me down, and 14 hours later, back to America. And
I get up, walk into the bathroom every other hour.
Yeah, you did. And but you know, once I got to America, obviously my arm was blown up at this point in time. It was very red. I didn't know, was it the gout that was in my elbow, my arm? Not quite sure because I hadn't taken any medicine at that point in time. But it was the least of my worries. My worries was the dizziness. Now all of a sudden I became where I wasn't dizzy anymore, but yet my arm started blowing up and it was hot. And I remember putting ice on it and it would melt the ice, and the temperatures were ridiculously hot. And got home and was like, you know, I'm going to go to the doctors right away, of course. ended up going to the ER. You guys brought me into the ER.
Yeah, it was about 2 days. 2 days
It was
later.
the next day. It was the next day because I remember we got in that day, and that day I went to the doctor.
It was like the next day at night.
Yeah.
Next day night, yeah, because Kylie and I were gonna go to dinner, and we were just like, all right, a lot's happened. Let's just go to dinner.
I slept with him the one night because he was scared to sleep.
Yeah, it was the first. It was the first night we got home, and that's when I originally went to doctors. He gave me antibiotics.
Yes.
And stuff originally. And so I thought I would get better with those and went home that night. And then there was the next morning, the next day when you guys showed up.
Yeah, so it was probably around 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah. And we walked in. We were going to go to dinner and we said, you know what, let's just go by your dad's house and check on him before we go to dinner because I got to get up at 4 a.m. for work. So I was like, I want to go to dinner, go over and then stay super late. And then I need to sleep. And we walked into the house and we remember seeing you and Kylie thought immediately like something's wrong. Like, someone's died, something happened because you've got your head in your hands, you're on the couch here, and you're sitting, and your arm is like 3 times the size of the other one.
Yeah,
and it's hot and it's red, and you were stressing out about what was going on, and there was like a pool of water underneath you, and then you had a water bottle, like a regular water bottle underneath your forearm. Yeah, and when you lifted it up, your forearm had molded to the shape of the bottle. Yeah, it had a huge like tennis ball dent in it. And you were like, I'm just going to sleep it off. Like, I'll be fine. And Kyle and I were looking at each other like, mm-mm. And we FaceTime Miranda. Yeah. Shout out to Miranda again in the ER. And they were like, all right, we got to mark out where the redness is. And by the time we brought you into the ER, the redness had already spread past your forearm or past the top of your arm up to your shoulder and into your chest. Yeah. And they said if we didn't bring you in, if you didn't go to the hospital that night, there was a very strong chance that you wouldn't have beat the sepsis.
Yeah. And you know what? And I'm thankful for that. And going into the ER, I'll never forget sitting in there. They put me in the hallway, and for it gives like round 2, and I'm like, no, because these people are speaking English. They're coming and checking on me and everything. I'm very, very fortunate. Shout out to Northside Hospital. They did a fantastic job working with me. And you know what? I have another perspective. People, we go to the hospital. I'll never forget the first night there. My buddy Mike Dominicone showed up, and he spent the first night with me because he didn't want Kylie and you guys and everybody to stress over everything. And it was super cool that he was there. But I remember him saying, well, you're not going to get no sleep tonight. They're going to come in every hour and poke at you and prick at you. And I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with that. Because I just left a scenario where nobody gave a crap about me and just left me there to die. And now I got all these wonderful people that are coming in and actually care about me. And again, I have a fight for life. I wasn't ready to die. And unfortunately, the last person, my father, passed away with sepsis. He went under in surgery and was supposed to be a quick surgery and never woke up. So that still kind of resonated with me. And I was still very nervous and scared about that. So being in the hospitals those 7 days, pumping those antibiotics in me, they eventually put, a whole midline in me, which was like a port in my arm where I had to have daily IV therapy. Big shout out to Melissa Andrews, who was there every day doing my medicines there, and Kylie and Kian both. They took turns coming in, giving me my antibiotics daily. Did that for 7 weeks before my arm, thank God, got to a point where they had the sepsis under control, where there's still a spot with my elbow.
You still have vertigo at this point.
I still have vertigo for sure, 100%. That I need it to go away because it's killing me right now still. But ended up several weeks ago, they ended up having surgery on my elbow. That was a freaky moment for me too, because going under was the first time I had to go under since, again, my dad went under. I wanted to make sure I woke up, and it was anxiety. It was a lot of panic. But you know what? Again, thanks to all the love out there, all the support. I can't tell you all the people that commented on Facebook just praying for me and stuff. It just really, I do believe in prayer, and it really, really helped get me through those time frames. Waking up was a big deal for me. Elbow's healing up great right now, but I'm still spinning. Luckily I'm not spinning. I'm still dizzy. So I'm relearning my balance. Where I'm at today is got to go to a specialist on the 20th of this month. They've narrowed it down to there's a 25% bone loss in my ear, which could have affected all this vertigo to hit and to do what it did. right now, my right side of my brain has to relearn the balance to help, overturn some of the left side, and been going to PT, physical therapy, doing all that and getting that all right and stuff. But at the end of the day, very blessed to be alive. And thanks to my family, and thanks to everybody out there praying and all the things that you did as well, we got through this. But, there's lessons here. There's lessons. And I know my journey here on earth is a lot bigger and a lot better now, knowing that I have a different appreciation for medical. I have a different appreciation for thinking about when you travel, what you should think about, the what ifs, type of thing. And just big applause to all that, the what ifs and stuff. But keep in mind that, when you travel, the what ifs, what kind of hospitals are near you? Can you speak? Can you communicate their language? You need to know what's out there. So I advise you when you're traveling, make sure that you know what type of place you're close to so that you don't get into the same position that I did. So I hope you enjoyed learning about the Wham Bam Phil Benemino Italy episode. And, excited about our next episodes to come. So keep in mind, we got special guests coming in next week to discuss ways to make the impossible is possible. Why? Because I'm possible. Going to be an exciting episode. Thanks again for chiming in. Keep in mind, if you want to ask questions for future episodes, subscribe to our channel and email questions to phil@whambamspodcast.com. That's whambams, plural, podcast.com. Thank you. We're out. Thanks, Kian. Thanks, Rocco, for being here.
Adios.
Appreciate it.
This episode is sponsored by Cost Plus Processing, the #1 processor in the country. Call Cost Plus Processing, 1-855-391-9190, and know why they're the future of merchant processing.